let's be honest, Caterham product launches don't tend to be the most exciting ones. The 7's got a familiar shape, we're all used to it, and you see new colour combinations, new engine or gearbox, maybe different handling facilities on it. But overall, it's the car we know and love. And as a good example, here's the car they showed us up the hill climb at Goodwood. It's that familiar Caterham 7 shape, but it's got a washing machine motor and some upgraded laptop batteries. However, a few weeks ago, Caterham teased us with this glimpse of their new car. And at Goodwood, they actually showed us the whole thing. So we thought we'd take a closer look. Before we get into the new car, let's have a quick history lesson on how Caterham got to where they are today. The 7 was originally introduced as a Lotus back in 1957. Designed by Colin Chapman, he took the car through several sort of minor evolutions until they got to the Series 4, where it had a much different body shape due to its sort of fiberglass body and, in my opinion, quite a challenging rear end. In the early 70s, when the Series 4 was the one in production, Colin Chapman took the decision to sell the design on to Caterham Cars, which was one of their biggest dealers. Caterham initially sold the Series 4, but fairly soon reverted back to what was the Series 3 and is effectively the car that Caterham are still selling today. Now, Caterham have had one previous go at launching a new car. That was back in 1994, nearly 30 years ago, where they launched the Caterham 21. Now, in my old box of trinkets, I've actually found, look at this, a Caterham 21 bag. This must be quite rare. But the 21 was effectively a full-bodied 7. So it gave slightly more sort of practical sort of use to it. But unfortunately, the problem it ran into was around the same time, out came the Elise and the MGF, and they were much better sellers. The 21 only went on to sell 48 models or 48 cars, so it really wasn't a success. So Caterham went back to where they'd been to before, back to the Series 3 type design, and carried on producing up until now. So let's say hello to the Caterham V. This is the first all-new car from Caterham for nearly 30 years, and it's got no relation at all to the Caterham 7. The styling was done by Anthony Giannarelli, whose previous achievements included Design 1 sports car. When I first saw it, my instinct was it was like the love child between an Alpine A110 and a Porsche Cayman. I think it's very much in that styling range, and I still think it's an attractive car though. Now, onto the bit that makes me cough, it's an EV. I know everyone keeps telling me it's the future, but it's powered by two 55 kilowatt hour lithium ion batteries. One is situated under the driver and passenger's feet, and the other one is under the rear seat, and I'll come back to the rear seat in a minute. Now, range wise, they're talking about 249 miles in the real world, and the power is put through to the wheels through a single motor at the rear of the car. Now, performance wise, and Caterham say this is more of a sports tourer than a track day weapon. 0 to 62 is in 4.5 seconds and a top speed of 143 miles an hour, which is still not to be sniffed at, of course. Now, going back to those rear seats, on this concept, which they say is as close to a production car as they can get at the moment, it's showing one of the features is this single rear seat, which is for a small child or a squashed adult. But they're also saying in future they may offer a four-seater, so I guess that's what we would traditionally call the 2+2. So I think at the moment that central rear seat, which doesn't look overly comfortable, I think is just a novelty item at the moment. The weight hasn't been announced at the moment, but according to Autocar it's coming in at somewhere around about 1300 kilos. So the weight of these cars is definitely coming down. Caterham currently sell around 600 sevens every year. And Caterham CEO Bob Lashley told Autocar magazine that to make this new car viable, they're going to have to look to sell somewhere in the region of at least 2,000 every year, which I don't think is an unachievable number. Now, at the moment, they're talking about the V coming to market potentially in 2026. Now, this EV sports car market is evolving very quickly. They're talking about a launch price at the moment somewhere around about £80,000. Now, at the moment, two players that jump to my mind is the MG Cyberster, which I think they've talked about a launch price somewhere around about £55,000. And the other one that's, I think, in a similar range is going to be the Porsche 718 Boxster. And that's due, I think, about the same kind of time. So it will be interesting to see how this market develops and how obviously Caterham come to play within it. I really hope you've enjoyed watching this video, and if you have, please consider giving us a like and maybe even a subscribe. I'm Trevor, this has been 7 Spot, and take care until next time.